Hayen's journal is safe and secure. I couldn't keep it here, or in any hideaway I've stationed on Neyyah. I felt like it needed its own secluded special spot. The Velotron Temple seemed the most fitting place for such a soldier. I took some of the weapons found around Neyyah and displayed them out around the book too. He will rest peacefully there. His last words before the battle was fought to protect the Velotron machine against the invading forces of Cheruz, Califrecal, and his Eel of Light army. What really interests me is Hayen's use of what Algerians term as the English language, deriving from our ancestors who once existed on Bragnarion, back when it was called Earth. However, I used to hear... Oh, so this is in our universe, actually. However, I used to hear tell of this language termed as Whisper Tongue in the days of Tulimburi, before it became a native well-spoken language amongst the further developed culture of Tjalta. Galahanti was a very well-versed dialect, before it later became a more coded, less-used language amongst Tjaltan warriors. Oh, so Galahanti is intentionally a alphabet substitution. It is in-universe based on English. Okay. Before it became a more coded, less-used language amongst the Tjaltan warriors, broadcasted via the Galahanti podiums built at certain watch points, such as the harbor of Fleetsu Island. There is such an interesting link between Tjalta and Ology. Technically, the more ancient world of Tulimburi, which later became Tjalta, while Earth later became Bragnarion. How are these two distant worlds connected? Hayen's journal made me consider so many possibilities. I do wonder how much Smolax knows, how much he is, in fact, hiding to himself, hiding alongside Kerhelta Volka. 4231. Victory, as Smolax calls it. Victory to our people for vanquishing the betrayers. I can't help but pity the man, now so crazed and obsessed with finding Bragnarion again, finding Kerhelta Volka, a creature best left in shadows. If we are to find light, we must right the wrongs, cut out the lies, and expose the truth for what it is. Smolax trapped the survivors of Tjalta in the Bolivia. Now I will trap him. 4231. Definitely victory. Victory for the Tjaltans, the Palskas, for us. Combination required to activate the bunker teleportation system is a translation of 4231, floor symbols and constellation number symbols. Once these two translations are successful in the console, only then will the plasma section initiate and bring Smolax into the bunker as he arrives on Neyyah. That's, interesting. Is that the same number that we used for the Pelska activation, then? That was a 4231 as well. And it was like, also a combination of Flora and Constellation. Maybe it's a different combination of them? Or maybe it's just literally the same solution. I must get this right upon opening the console, otherwise Smolax will arrive at the Jalud arrival station close by, and he will be armed. Once he is imprisoned inside the bunker, I must make sure he doesn't break out. I'll guard the bunker door, check inside if necessary. I must give Orion enough time to initiate the teleportation process. A healthy full Neyyah sport needs to be offered in order to complete the passing successfully. Okay, so this is what we're going to be using it for. So we need it for trapping Smolax at the very end here. Okay? Anything else, and Orion will not be able to proceed with the teleportation. I am so thankful that she has successfully connected to Quan, a land far away from Neyyah, deeper into the heart of the Tjaltan lands. Everything is set up ready for Smolax's arrival. He will no longer be able to get back to Olajay. After following Urchar's instructions on setting up the various components required to create a successful teleportation system at the bunker, I did consider the possible problems that could occur upon initiating the process of bringing Smolax down to the bunker. What if someone else came to Neyyah instead of Smolax? I understand that the Ronaldo Temple will be notified of the alarm that will be signaled to Neyyah. In times past, I've witnessed Smolax come down himself and land at the Jalud station opposite the bunker. I'm sure, considering this moment in time where Smolax is so alert to things taking place on Feamor, especially with the activity picked up from the very heart of Tjalta, he won't hesitate to come down himself, especially if there's a possibility that the Klevian might once again be within his grasp. Juan awaits. Everything there is set up ready for Smolax's arrival. I just hope Orion is right. This is the one place on Feamor that the Palskas were able to retreat to. That's the wrong two. They were able to retreat to after the war Smolax besieged upon Tjalta. I'm told by Orion that herself and the other Pelskos will take care of Smollax. My only regret is sending Ivan and Theo out there alongside their daughters, Eurysthea and Levalia. I'm hoping Smollax's entrapment on Juan may spark some activity into their whereabouts and safety. I've noticed Mason snooping around the bunker lately. I believe he is aware of my communications with Orion. However, he will find it difficult getting inside. The bunker is now sealed off, with the only entry being the plasma suction, initiated through bringing Smollax's Jalude down into the bunker once he arrives on Neyyah. My first communications with Orion here on Neyyah were uneasy. I am aware now she is in hiding alongside the other Pelskos of Fajalta at the heart of Theamore in an ancient place called Juan, where the Fajaltan Lord and High Ruler Kononavik once resided. Through using Neyyah spores, Fajaltan constellation numbers, and flora symbols, I was able to generate a gateway for her to be able to pass through into Neyyah using the Pelska Shrine. The old machines there were once manned by many men, enabling her to physically materialize into Neyyah. However, when the Colivian was sealed, so their power was drained, and they were essentially cut off from being able to enter their Validians, and unable to protect them. I have also learned a lot from Orion, as well as delving into my own research. There is plenty more information I could discover within the halls of the Rinalda Temple. The High Priests have powerful systems in place to keep guard of vital information related to the work on the Lothomian Temple in bringing Ology back to Ragnaria. I think it's important that I count in this journal as much as I know so far in regards to the history of Ology and how the betrayal really came to be. From what I'm aware, over the couple or so centuries that have passed since our arrival here on Theamore, the original dwellers of Fajalta welcomed our broken world with open arms. Torn from Bragnarian, our surviving part of the planet somehow passed through a space vortex known as Tilibronkanar, an experimental force of magic generated by the Banots that became catastrophic and untamed, ripping a hole through time and space. We left behind our devastated planet and were transported into the world of Theamore, protected in a plasma bubble formed by the Tilibronkanar, unable to touch the lands or oceans beneath. Very soon, the people of Fajalta came to Ology, offering peace and knowledge of their world, healing the wounded, and sharing their own technologies in order for us to start again. Through the use of the mysterious magical pearls grown on Theamore known as Neyyah, Ology was able to maintain its crumbling land from falling into oblivion as the Tilibronkarna's magic started to waver. At the heart of the Ronalda Temple, there sits Neyyah so powerful that its energy source keeps the land afloat, while generating a powerful gravitational pull on the land. This Neyyah is known as Naraliya, and is a symbol of life, strength, and power to Ology. Naraliya was a gift from the peaceful, good-natured people of Fajalta, a Neyyah forged by their lord and master, Kononavik, who was not only ruler over all Fajalta, but also a very close ally from the Pelskos. He was a mysterious being who defied age and had powers not even the Pelskos could truly fathom. Alongside Kononavik, the Pelskos generated the original pearl form of Neyyah deep within the oceans of Theamore, and each Pelska controlled the growth of these pearls from 6 different islands, which the Fajaltans called Validians. They became the guardians, Validians. Over the years, magnificent mechanisms, cranes, rail carts, etc., have been designed by the people of Fajalta to take the payments to their cities on Fajalta, or take the Neyyahs to their cities on Fajalta, and generate power to keep their people protected and thriving, living with respect and love of the Pelska. Upon discovering Ology, Kononavik wanted to share the power of the Neyyah. Electricity, food, sources, anything to enable them to conduct the research they needed, sustaining whatever remained of their homeworld of Ragnaria. The Yovalesh was created, a portal which connected the Neyyah factory of the Blue Validian, which later became Neyyah, to the heart of the Rinalda Temple on Ology. Many years continued to pass. All the while, the alliance between Fajalta and Ology strengthened. Upon Ology, the Neyyahs were manipulated in various ways to generate all sorts of magical properties, while some Neyyahs were taken into the Rinalda Temple to help further developments on the Lothomian portal, the gateway being developed by the high priests of the temple, magicians in their own right, working alongside a very clever engineer by the name of Smollax Nemes. However, the Fajaltans' trust in the Algerian world would only seal their doom. Smollax had been mastering the plans for the Lothomian portal, and began to experience what he called the machine breath. visions and communications from a surviving Balax leader of the Bragnarian called Verhelta Volka. For centuries, his ancestors had coincided with Fjalta to form an alliance which kept their world alive, but he believed they could have more. The design of the Laflomian portal wasn't enough. It needed more power. He believed the people of Fjalta knew of power sources which could speed up the activation of the Laflomian portal, enough to send Olajay back to Bragnarian. A betrayal took place. The Olajarians were made to believe that the Fjaltans saw Olajay as a threat to their planet, and Pananovic wanted the technology the Olajarians had been developing. He wanted the Laflomian portal for himself. The people of Fjalta apparently feared that the harvesting of the powerful Kaida, which had kept their lands alive for so long, was beginning to fail them. They needed a new world to live in, and the people of Fjalta would do anything to save their people, even if it meant turning their backs on the Olajarians. To defend his people, Smollax took it upon himself to create a portal system, which he called the Clivian, connected to a desolate lost realm known as Clivia that his father, Nikshu, had been introduced to by Kleine. After experimenting with frequencies that could link the Laflomian portal to other worlds in the search for their own. It was a barren world. That's the wrong barren. It was a barren world, a wasteland, and now the gateway to this world lay at Smollax's fingertips. As the Fjaltans marched upon Olajay far below on Fjalta, Smollax stepped up and put himself between Olajay and the marching army of Fjaltans. He activated the Clivian and raised it above his head, holding it as best as he could, fighting against the formidable force emitted from his heart, opening a doorway into Clivia and sucking all the Fjaltans, including the 4 rulers of Fjalta, into the Clivian. Of course, this was all a lie, told over the years, keeping Smollax Mehmet in power as Lord of Olajay, Master of Laflomian Portal, the guide who will return Olajay back to their home of Bragnarian. Over the last while, I have delved into enough of Smollax's plans and discovered so much from Orion, strengthening my connection with the Pelska line to know what really happened. Smollax ordered the High Priest to trap the 4 rulers of Fjalta, Belakane, Eunarda, Damiet, and Tazil, into the Clivian. They were led into the Ronaldo temple under the false assumption they were simply inspecting work on the Laflomian portal. What they thought was the portal turned out to be the Clivian, and they were deceived. Once the 4 rulers were trapped, the Pelska's energy was weakened, and they were left vulnerable to the elements of Theum. They retreated, unable to defend Fjalta, their power drained from them, and they fled into secret safe zones set up in Quan. They had to protect themselves. Smollax took charge of Olajay. He rushed over Fjalta, killing many in his path, while capturing a fair few along the way, who he later rounded up in big groups and forced them into Clivian. Pananovic fought against Smollax, resisted the Clivian, disappeared into the depths of the ocean, never to be seen again. Quan was a title later given to Smollax by Olajay. It meant great vision. Smollax was praised for being a hero, when in fact he turned his back on the very people that kept him alive all this time on Feamor. The Clivian had been used, the Pelskas had fled, and Fjalta had fallen into the hands of Smollax and Olajay. As the years passed, Smollax continued to reign. He kept the Clivian at the Ronaldo temple, the Paidas began to lose their energy source, and the Neuralia Paida, keeping Olajay together, was weakened. One of the high priests believed what they had done in the past had cursed them and attempted to flee Olajay. His name was Lamalta, and he was going to reopen the Clivian, set free the priests of Fjalta, and pray for forgiveness. However, in his attempt to open the device, a portal manifested outside the temple high above Olajay. The bright light vaporized the Marta and pulled the Clivian into its glowing heart. The Clivian was lost that day, and Smollax has never been able to find it. Countless search parties were sent out to try and locate Quan, the ancient homeland of the Fjaltans, where Kleine once lived. However, it seemed to have mysteriously vanished. The land was no more, as if it had never existed. Recently, signals erupted from the quiet waters of Feamor. Quakes deep underwater, and a strange string of unidentifiable words sounded in the Ronaldo temple. Frequencies, voices, alien. Juan had awoken. A ship called the Inceptuous Biancana was sent to Feamor in search of the signal's location. 2 scientists were sent down, Ivan and Theo, part of the group of workers manufacturing and manipulating the power sources of various-sized Paidas. 2 great men who worked for me. Their daughters, Novalia and Erosia, went with them to aid them in their expedition and learn about Fjalta. 2 years had passed, and we lost all communication. They too have disappeared. But now, these signals, could it be them? Could they have found Quan? While Smolux is still the master of Oloj, he has dismissed their disappearance and is draining the last of Norelia's power sources at the heart of the Ronalda Temple to speed up the process of activating the Loflomian portal. Now I await the Old One, a being who will be pulled from our past world of Earth before the plague-devastated planet where the humans were transformed into our old masters, the Vanox dragons, after suffering the side effects of the vaccine, which didn't cure them. Instead, it deformed them and ruined their world. Myself, Smolax, we are the results of their engineering. The Vanox wanted to replicate their old human selves and created us, slaves to the Vanox, servants. Okay, so this is very literally, the game basically wants me to play pretend here that I was just walking around on Earth and then suddenly ended up here. This is a very fun meta interpretation of the player playing the game. Servants of Bragnarion. The Old One is a true human, one with the ability to enter Quan and find the Kleine, and in doing so, freeing the Fjaltans once and for all. While work continues in my fight to bring Smolux to justice, I also have to make sure work continues on Neyyah to help bring a better world to Oloj. Even once the Fjaltans have returned to reclaim their world, the Felidians, the Felidsu plants are so precious. Their roots could be the link between Oloj and Fjalta, a new way to establish a connection between both our worlds, to establish peace and community. I do fear that some of the Felidsu plants aren't receiving the right nutrients needed with the current setups at the Felidsu Dome. I will look into acquiring some solution pumps from Oloj, which are used on the gardens of the Ronalda Temple. Once a week, mechanisms can be set up to spray the Felidsu plants. I've tried to make more regular trips to the dome, but very recently, Smolux has been calling me back to Oloj to deal with training assistants and their learning programs, changing this, changing that. Some of it makes no sense, and I feel it's only a distraction. I feel he is trying to steer me away from Neyyah. It was only the other day I noticed 2 of my young students have not returned, ever since Smolux started spot checks and bringing students to his office. What is Smolux up to? If my main avenues of leaving Neyyah were blocked off, then I would need an emergency escape plan. An orange Kulapida is required for the aortic gas system I have set up at the Bodvig Tower. To keep it protected, I've used a unique red paste coating, which needs to be taken off before I can use it. This can be done easily with some good old-fashioned cleansing. The Theotis clan will be my side in this task, and know it. The Old One shall arrive soon. I must get everything ready at the Sky Chamber, as Orion requested. In the name of Fjalta, this has to work. It has to. Important. Must do this. Oh, this note is separate. Okay. Once you have lowered the Neyyah, an electromagnetic charge has been detected in the heater chamber through the sensors I have set up there. The bunker teleportation system will be active, and when you arrive at the Pelska Shrine, Orion will initiate the processing. I believe this will be a final test meant for the Old One, but I don't want you to get stranded out there and accidentally get caught up in the trap she has laid out. The portal back to the Neyyah pools won't work. And okay, let me slow down here. Once you've lowered the Neyyah, an electromagnetic charge has been detected in the heater chambers for the sensors I've set up there. Yeah, I believe I've done that now. It will be active, and when you arrive at the Pelska Shrine, Orion will initiate processing. I believe this will be a final test meant for the Old One, but I don't want you to get stranded out there and accidentally get caught up in the trap she's laid out. The portal back to the Neyyah pools won't work. Okay, so once I'm at Minerva Point, I can't go back. And the Pelska portal will be inactive. Okay. You must remember combinations for the bunker teleportation system, and be armed with the correct Neyyah spore. Otherwise, well, dread to think what might happen. Okay. I must remember the combinations for the bunker teleportation system. I'm assuming he means for the one beginning with 4. That I already have written down. 4231. And it's Flora Constellation. I have that all down, right? and be armed with the correct Neyyah spore, which I am. Yes, I picked it up a long time ago. Okay. That's all good, but I don't know what to do about the transportation towers still. But I mean, I guess I have no option but to do that now. Now, hold on. Let me just write down the actual flora symbols in case... I don't know why I would lose my journals, but let me just actually write this down, right? So it would be floras first, right? I'm assuming it's the same code for the Pelska portal, basically, right? It's written the same way. So basically, let me draw like a diagram of this plant. That's 1. And then, so 4, 2, with the 2 being a constellation. I inconveniently wrote that on the opposite side of the page. That's the number 2, right? No, it's not. It's more forward. Like that. And then 3 is flora as well, which is the Felicio plant. Yeah, I already entered this combo for the Pelska portal before, so I know I can do it again. And then 1, which is this guy. I'm just writing this down in advance, in case I cannot. I don't see why they would take away my journal, but you know, just in case. Okay. Let's head back then, because I expect the thing has now been lowered. So now I need to find my way to Minerva Point, and just cross my fingers that I don't need the teleportation system on right now. Because, yeah, it feels like something I should have done by now, but, you know, I guess maybe not, I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna get that ending, I don't know. But hey, like, if they get angry at me for that, like, I don't know what to tell you. I put in the codes as best as I was able to figure them out. I'm sorry. Okay. Active point to Minerva Point. Let's go. And to my understanding, we might not be able to come back from this. So, I mean, actually, I kind of wish I could see the Neyyah lowered. I kind of want to see that. Should I reload my save? Can I still use this? Let's actually check. Oh. Huh. Huh, I've never seen that shot before. Means we've made progress. So let me guess. This is not active now? I can't use this anymore? Oh, surprisingly, I can use this. Can we see the thing lowered now? It's lowered. There it is. I just kind of wanted to see that. Just to confirm, yes, it is in fact here. I still feel bad, kind of bad about cheesing that puzzle, but we did it. Okay, well, let's go. Man, that's such a weird thing. It's so late in the game to just have a random animal shot thrown in here. Like, this must be late game, right? We're gonna finish this here. So, a full healthy score is what we need, and we need this code that I've written down. It's the same code as before. It's the 4231. Can we interact with this at all now? Still no. Alright. That still doesn't do anything. Are we not ready, or what? We were supposed to come here, right? Aren't we? Oh. Oh, right, this is a locked thing. Right, okay. Is there somewhere here we are meant to put the spore? I definitely got the impression I was just supposed to come straight here, but maybe not? Maybe I still have to figure out the transportation towers yet before I can do this. And she just won't appear here until that is the case. Okay. Alright. So there's still something I have not done yet. Or still something that I need to do before she'll show up. We could go to the Bannock's computer system and read up on the status of the system. This is closer, so I'll double check on this again first, because this is relevant. Yeah. So these are the sensors. Yeah. These are the lantern-like things that were being described. So there is four of them, as Mason said. 3 of them are here. The 4th is on on Falitsu Island, right next to the Jalud. Okay. And they are not active because they require electromagnetic charge. Now, didn't he just say that the heater was going to cause electromagnetic charge? I cannot take this back out of here, so it's not like I can, like, cleanse this or something, right? He did mention cleansing in the journal, but... That's the Lodvik Peida. I don't have another Peida. Like, he mentioned a Kula Peida, but... I don't know what he's talking about, because this is the only Peida that I got. And it's the Lodvik Peida, or Veltron Peida, whatever you want to call it. But it was never referred to as a Kula Peida. That's not what this is it? That's not interactable. This thing. Yeah, so I bet this will activate the portals when that's on. Yeah. This is just going to yell at me for not having the transportation towers on, which I cannot. I do not know. Now, why does the screen say location of Neyyah gas portal? Does that mean that the Neyyah gas portal, we have to go into it to initiate the signal transfer from the transportation towers? Because if so, that would mean that this step... But it's the Neyyah gas system activation console, right? So this is supposed to turn it on. We don't go through it first. Like, what? What is the clue for these stupid transportation towers? I don't understand this. I put in what I obviously think is the right solution into them, and it didn't consider it right. And I've just been waiting for the game to, like, give me something that would, like, tell me, oh, you actually need to transfer the signal somewhere else. Right? There's somewhere else that you need to go to confirm that solution that you entered. And it just hasn't happened. So I'm thinking I just have the wrong answer to them. But what am I supposed to, like... What do I tell you? Like, it's just... I put in the correct solution. Like, I refuse to believe it's not the correct solution. It's the correct solution. What other solution is there? Like, does the game expect me to just have figured this out by now? Because I really don't want to cheese that puzzle after already having cheesed the Neyyah lowering puzzle. I'm going to check if anything's changed here. The only other color code that I can think of that I have not used is one which I'm not even certain is a color code. It's just the Falitsu roots thing, which I wrote down. They are numbered, so there's an order to them. but it's not implied anywhere that I'm meant to use that as a code for something. Heaters active. Neyyah at point B. Shield active. Neyyah active. It's at point B. The chute is inactive. Does it matter that the chute is inactive? That's operated remotely on Oluj, so I can't do anything about that. And they're supposedly foreign objects in the pools. I think those are the thing in the logic tower that is the sensors there. I think that Mason was talking about. I cannot see them. I can't make them out, but I think that's what it's referring to when it says foreign objects. It would make sense that they would be unidentifiable. Yeah. Yeah. This is all green lights. I'm gonna have to watch the video to see if I can work backwards what the logic was for this puzzle. Okay. Well, there's nothing really more that I can think of to do other than the transportation towers, so I'm back in this situation again. I did make progress, but only because I basically, accidentally found my way into a solution instead of actually solving it. And again, I don't know how to work out the codes for the transportation towers. I think that's what everything is waiting on now. So yeah, I'll check back on the Steam discussion forum, and if anybody has replied to it, then I will take their hints. But if not, then I did at least make quote-unquote progress, even if it was, kind of not really well-earned progress this session. So I will, I guess I can come back and keep trying just random stuff, just try, anything I can think of for the colors. And just see, can I figure out the colors, just trying any weird idea that I can possibly think of, right? But other than that, I really can't think of any other way to progress. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'll save my game here. And, yeah. Then, that'll be that. I'll save it over this slot. It's the oldest one. So yeah, thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.